Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Smashy Business Show. Today is September 10th, 2024. It is 10 a.m. My name is Hind Al-Dah and I'm here with my co-host Abdul Majid Awan. Abdul Majid, first of all, I want to ask you, how are you doing today?
All good.
Yeah?
Very good, actually.
Yeah. Have you read anything interesting in today's morning news?
Yes, the UAE has announced its GDP numbers. So the Minister of Economy, he said that the UAE's GDP in the first quarter of 2024 rose to $117.16 billion. That is 430 billion AED. That's just the first quarter of 2024. And the real GDP growth was 3.4% as compared to Q1 of 2023. And the non-oil GDP growth, that is always the main important thing that we see. Non-oil GDP growth was 4%. So apart from oil, dependence on oil is obviously now being taken away. They're trying to build and grow the non-oil GDP. That was 4%. That's a 4% growth. Good number. And also they announced the GDP target for the UAE 2031 vision, which is AED 3 trillion. So the new target, the GDP target for the UAE 2031 vision is AED 3 trillion. And there's a lot of numbers about a lot of sectors. So I'll just read them quickly, just so you know. So financial and insurance sector growth was 7.9%. Local credit growth to the private sector was 6%. Transportation and storage activities grew 7.3%. Number of travelers at UAE airport in the first quarter of 2024 was 36.5 million. That's a 14.7% growth. And then there's growth in container handling at Dubai ports. That's 3.7% increase. Growth in cargo handling in Abu Dhabi ports saw an increase of 36%. So these are some of the numbers. Another number that I saw, which is really important, is real estate activities contribution to non-oil GDP. So the real estate contributed nearly 7.1% to the first quarter GDP that we just saw. So that's a big number. Construction and building activities, basically, which is part of the real estate industry, that saw 11.8% growth. And financial and insurance activities also contributed 13.4%. Manufacturing activities contributed 14.6% to non-oil GDP. And lastly, trade activities contributed 16.1% to non-oil GDP. So there's like 5 big sectors which have contributed to the growth. That is 4% growth of the non-oil GDP. So yeah, these numbers came in the morning, so I was like, I should share them with everyone.
Great. That's great. And this is only in the first quarter, so
yeah,
they have yet to release the first
GDP
half.
numbers usually come at the end of the year and actually in the first half of the next year, because you have to like take all the numbers, then make data. So it's a long process. Usually they're published, the whole year's GDP numbers are published in the first half of the next year, around May, June, when the fiscal year ends.
Okay.
But this first quarter is done really good. Everything has seen increase.
Can't wait for next year until the full report is out.
Yeah.
For our main news stories today, we have Apple reveals new iPhone 16, Majid Al Futtaim and Tabby Unveil SHAREPay integration, FlapKap raises $34 million to boost SME financing in the Middle East. So, top story this week, if those of you are into tech products and Apple specifically, they have unveiled their new iPhone 16 lineup and also their Apple Watch Series 10 and AirPods 4 at their fall launch event. And the new line of products that pertain to the iPhone include 4 different models. So there's the iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Plus, iPhone 16 Pro, and iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now, Majid, what makes this lineup of Apple products different from all the previous iPhones?
So what happened during the launch event was they announced that the new phones, the new Apple iPhone 16s, all the 4 models, will have A18 Pro chip with second generation 3 nanometer transistors. So these phones will obviously be faster in performance and will have greater efficiency. which is like one of the USPs of Apple products. Any Apple buyer, you ask them if your iPhone hangs, they will say no, never. It's impossible for an iPhone to like lag. But Android users do complain about it, that after 1 or 2 years, the Androids start lagging. That is like a populist conception. Android phones are becoming faster and faster every day with new chips, obviously. And for the first time, they've introduced a new camera. So the first time users can now capture video in 4K. 4K video was already there, but this time they can capture videos in 4K at 120 frames per second. So usually the FPS is 24 or 30, but these new fusion cameras, which they're calling it, will have 120 frames per second in 4K. So that's a new addition. Apart from that, there's a lot of new things. The new AI that they're calling Apple Intelligence. That is also a part of the new launch, and there's a whole 4-minute video where Tim Cook is explaining how new Siri is more advanced and more, she can tell you literally everything that is in your phone. So she's more customized to the user of the phone or iPad or the laptop. So let's see, hopefully the new Siri is not like the old Siri.
So they're also kind of combining what we see with ChatGPT, of course, the infamous AI tool, and also Google Lens. I don't know if you've used it, Majid, but it's basically you take a picture of something, or if you find something on Google Images, you use the lens to find similar images or to track the source of the image. So this is actually a good way, and totally unrelated news, but if you're seeing some image that you're unaware of or you think it's fake news, you always take a screenshot and you use the Google Lens feature to kind of see the source of the original image. Yes, exactly. So they're doing that with the new with the launch of the new Apple iPhone with their Apple Intelligence. And it's basically you can take a picture of whatever you see on the street even, and it tells you all the information. So for example, if you go out and see a new restaurant, you can take a picture with your iPhone 16. Or sorry, it's also for iOS. iOS. And it basically gives you all the information on your phone. So it's makes things very easy for your
Actually, they're trying to... we were talking about it, that the primary focus of the phone was communicating, but apart from that, it's doing everything now. The new Siri apparently will also be able to tell you a lot of things which the old Siri wasn't able to do. You can just talk to her and say, give me photos from Saturday with kids jumping on,
or even the names. You can even put
always
names
say, aren't
for your kids,
or out of like 4 kids, if you have, you say John doing this. So it will find it. So customization and being able to read your phone and your understandings, your preferences, that is what is new in Siri through artificial Apple interface. Apple Intelligence.
Exactly.
So it's called Apple Intelligence. So obviously, these new phones are being sold on ground in the stores from 20 September, but there's always pre-order available. So you can always pre-order them. The prices for the iPhones that I saw, the highest one, the Apple iPhone 16 Pro Max was starting from $1,199.
This is with the least amount of gigabytes.
Yeah, so I guess it's 128 or 256 minimum. And then as you go on with the storage, that is like the JD of an iPhone. The more storage you get, the more expensive it gets. Though I guess in UAE, the Max iPhone 16 with the most amount of gigabytes storage and everything will cost you around 6,000 dirhams. So yeah.
If you have the money to spend.
Soon we'll see stories of people lining up for the iPhone outside the Apple stores throughout the UAE. And overnight they'll be standing there just to get their hands on the new iPhone and the watch series and the AirPods. There are a lot of new colors. This is like again, every time they do a launch event, they launch new colors as well.
Yeah.
So I guess the new flex is I have a pink AirPod.
Yeah, exactly. So we had to talk about the new Apple iPhone, of course. But now let's get into our second story of the day. So Majid Al Futtaim and Tabby, the buy now, pay later service, have unveiled a SharePay integration, which is a game changer for shopping. So SharePay from, the Share app infamously by Majid Al Futtaim. They're integrating with Tabby's BNPL services into Majid Al Futtaim's Share app. Yeah. So it's basically going to be the Tabby service inside of the app itself, and this will enhance the shopping flexibility by allowing users to make purchases and split payments into 4 interest-free installments. And the integration expands the buy now pay later service across Majid Al Futtaim's malls and retail outlets in the UAE, making it the largest BNPL provider in the region.
So what happened was in July 2023, Majid Al Futtaim and Tabby, they started this partnership. So whenever you went to a Majid Al Futtaim store, a retail store or the mall or anywhere, and you wanted to buy something, you would always see a small Tabby barcode or scan code or a QR code right at the paying
checkout
spot, cash counter. So there you will always have it, but you could scan it and obviously split the payments. But now in your Share app, which is Majid Al Futtaim's like rewards and points app, you can have it now done within the app. So that's the integration that was launched yesterday, but the partnership has been going on since July 2023. There were a few numbers attached to that partnership since July 2023. In just 9 months, over 253 million of AD in BNPL transactions were processed after this partnership. So that's a big number.
And that exceeded their initial budget of 100 million. So it's
they
more
thought
than
it would only do
half.
100 million.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Again, we've always we've talked a lot about BNPL services, that buy now, pay later. People love those services. You can always buy expensive stuff that you don't have the money for, like 5,000, 10,000 dirhams. But then you can obviously break down into payments. And the good thing that I was reading is there's no extra payment over the original price.
There's no hidden payments.
Yeah, no hidden payments, no charges extra. You can just break it into 4 parts and pay it later, or maybe more parts.
Yeah, so it's just an installment.
So that's a good integration. Hope you can go, and whenever you're going to a Majid Al Futtaim store, a retail store run by them, you can now buy more stuff.
Yeah, with your Share app. Finally, for our final story, we have a startup story. So FlapKap raises $34 million to boost SME financing across the Middle East and North Africa region. So FlapKap is an Egypt-born but Abu Dhabi-based fintech platform. And they have raised $34 million in a pre-Series A funding round, which brings their total funding to $37.6 million. And this funding round was led by BECO Capital with new investments from Pact VC and contributions from A15, Include, QED investors, and debt financing from Channel Capital. So a lot of different parties included with the funding of FlapKap. And the funds will be used to expand SME financing services across the Middle East and North Africa and the GCC region. So FlapKap is a funding platform, so they will use the funding that they received to help fund other SMEs in particular. Yeah.
So SMEs, again, they constitute nearly more than 90% of the whole business environment in the UAE. So it's a very big market. We recently saw Zena, that's a fintech startup, getting $30 million in funding. So a lot of fintech startups are getting funding, one thing, and a lot of startups which are catering to SMEs somehow, they're getting a lot of funding because the market is very big. So 90+% of businesses being termed as small and medium enterprises, you have a big market to cater to. You have a lot of prospective clients. So everyone who is trying to build a fintech platform in the future, try to target the SME market.
Yeah,
it's a very big market and very untapped market. The money that is going into these startups, it shows that it's still untapped. It's not very widely accessible market. And SMEs need financing. They need financing for growth. They need financing for maybe if they're product based, they need financing to buy more product, for warehousing. There's like 1 million things, operational needs. So this startup, FlapKap, which was made by 4 people, basically, it was founded in 2022 by Ahmed Kucha, Khalid Naseef, Sharif Bichara, and Kunal Harisinghani. So these 4 people came together in 2022 and they're like, let's give money in very simple terms. It's not that simple, but in very simple terms, let's give money to companies so they can do whatever they want. They can get access to capital, to money, and we can get a small fee out of it.
So it began because they thought that the landscape wasn't really catering to SMEs. So they came up with this startup to help with that. So they started in Cairo in 2022, and then by the end of the year, they came to the UAE, and now they are based in Abu Dhabi.
Everyone is coming to the UAE.
Yes.
Good for UAE. So what their fintech does is it basically leverages AI, artificial intelligence, and open banking to streamline the loan approval process. So any SME who wants a loan for 2 main purposes, what I saw, it was to scale their inventory and for digital advertising as well. So they can come, the loan approval process takes nearly 48 hours according to their website. So within 48 hours, you can upload everything on their portal. It's all digital. You don't have to like run around to their offices. Yeah. Just upload everything that they want on their portal or through their app. And within 48 hours, you'll get a yes or a no. So if you're approved, you can get the access to capital, restock your inventory. And so accessing it also, fintech leverages AI and open banking to streamline the loan approval process, assessing applicants using data from e-commerce sites, social media, and bank account. So they don't just ask for your bank details or the revenue that you're generating. They also see, look at the products that you've placed on e-commerce sites. They also look at your social media, and they also look, obviously everyone looks at your bank accounts, but they see an overall picture of your business. And then they decide if you'll get the loan or not. So it's not just like, oh, we're making 1 million every month. Course. This is the bank statement.
It's to see if the potential business that they will help with, or they will give loans to is profitable. And of course, that would be a big win for the company itself and for FlapKap. So it makes sense.
It also shows that if you're active on social media, if your numbers are growing, if, for example, in the last 1 month, your social media grew by 20-30%, all the numbers are green, all the metrics are green. So they will see that there is demand for this product, or at least there is interest in this product. So they will gauge it based on that also. So they're not investing in the present only, they're investing in the future of the company as well. And I also read something that, for example, if you have a product which is seasonal, for example, a winter product, and winters are like 2 or 3 months in UAE. So during the low period, during the summer period, the payments that you have to return to the company, they also reduce. So it's not just that, oh, every month you have to pay like 5,000 dirhams back. When you have a slow season, the payments also slow down. But when you have a busy season, the payments go up. So it's a very nice way of giving money back to FlapKap. So yeah, good idea. Very good startup. Let's see if it grows into a unicorn soon enough. These are the stories that we discussed today. UAE has published its first quarter 2024 GDP numbers. Apart from that, Apple has revealed their new iPhone, 4 different versions of the iPhone 16. Then the Apple Watch Series 10 has been launched, and then AirPods have been launched. There's a noise cancelling option, which is expensive than the normal one, as usual.
And also the USB Type-C.
There's USB Type-C included now, so it's easier for you to charge it using any other Android charger as well. You don't need to go to people and say, do you have an Apple charger? So yeah, that will make your life easy as well. Majid and Futtaim and Tabby have unveiled a SHAREPay integration. First, you used to scan a code from a physical thing. Now you can just open your Share app by Majid Al Futtaim and use the Tabby services, break down your payments into 4, 3, however many parts you want. And lastly, we talked about FlapKap, which is a Egypt-born startup, but is now settled in Abu Dhabi. And they've raised $34 million, and they fund SMEs for inventory management. And basically, they give access to capital to small and medium enterprises.
So if you missed the first half of the show, you can always find us on all the streaming platforms like Anghami, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, and YouTube. We also have a daily newsletter out every single day. So make sure to check that out for more information on the topics we talk about on the show. So thank you everybody for joining us on the Smashy Business Show, a Smashy Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.